Welcome, friends, to Tanked Up, the podcast all about video games and beer. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, here with Lucy.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
And a returning Adel.
Hey!
Let's launch straight in and ask Adel how he is for half an hour. How are you, man?
I'm not bad. It's things are happening.
Fill air.
Mm.
You continue.
I played some games. My marking crazy year seems to be slowly easing off.
Yeah.
I forgot knocking on wood will rattle the microphone because there's a clamp on the table that is holding the microphone. I'm a professional. We've done 400 odd episodes of this damn podcast. No, I'm good. I played 4 games last week. It was fun.
Nice.
I got very drunk.
Amazing. More.
I like that song, Knock on Wood.
Oh, the impression that I get, you mean?
Yeah.
Is that the one you mean?
What?
Are you talking about the impression that I get? Or
I don't know what you're
song?
talking about.
What are the other words?
Oh, wow. Just typed it into Google. There's been a lot of covers on this, hasn't there?
I don't know.
Let's go lyrics. I was talking about the... This is great podcasting, isn't it?
No,
Absolutely. We've kicked in. We've kicked in really
Oh,
well.
the one I'm thinking is Eddie Floyd.
I don't want to lose you.
Good. Oh, there we go.
I thought you were talking about the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
It's frightening. Who else did that? Otis Redding, Eric Clapton.
Oh, wow.
Michael Bolton, because of course.
That's a lot.
I'll send you.
I wonder whether they all covers or if people also just called their song that for some of these people potentially.
Possibly.
Seal's done it as well.
It's from the era of when people all sort of had the same repertoire.
Sure. But then covered through the decades as well. Good. Should we have some beers while we're having a quick look at everyone can do their own little bit of mini research. Lucy.
Baby. Yeah.
What are you starting with this week? What are you drinking this week?
I'm drinking a Deya beer. This is one hot off their presses.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was put on for sale this week. I got it from my local beer bottle shop. This is called the Sundrips Honey. It's a double IPA. Deya used to do a honey beer, which was called Honey Be Good back in the day, in the early days. And I still think it's probably the best example of a beer using honey that I can remember. But yeah, this seemingly doesn't have any honey in it. Yeah, I'll read you what it says on the front of the can. It's a double IPA. It's 8%. A fresh dipper for spring. Pineapple, mango, and some funky white grape taking a long walk on your palate. So yeah, don't think there's any actual honey in it. Don't see that on the back of the can.
Mm-hmm.
But I've enjoyed Deya's double IPAs output recently, like the saturated in, was it Simcoe? They did an 8% version of that, and that was delightful. That reminded me of like old time Deya. I don't get that kind of like buzz that I used to get from the Buzz Honey.
Mm-hmm.
From like the their standard ABV range, going from like 4 to 7%. It's like I feel like they're getting back to old Deya with like just heaps of flavour, with like more of their double IPA range. I've got another one that's a 8% beer in the fridge. So yeah, even though it's sadly not the rebirth of the Honey Be Good recipe, it's a Deya double IPA, so I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Cool. I am following suit with a double IPA as well, but it's a beer that you've drank, Lucy. It's the KaleiDIPA, the Wiper and True kaleidoscope version, I suppose, of the double IPA. What I find interesting more so than anything about this, I read a bit of flavor text. It's 8.4%. Double IPAs seem to have been a solid, just bang on 8% for a very, very long time. So interesting that this is coming in over that a little bit. But we're celebrating Wiper and True's 11th birthday with a big, bold, dipper strength and very limited edition batch of our flagship beer, Kaleidoscope. Our brewers have really gone to town to bring you the biggest beer we've brewed in years, taking all the flavour aroma qualities you know and love from Kaleidoscope and quite literally doubling them. Twice the hops for bigger flavours of tropical juice with citrus zestiness. Loads more wheat for a thicker, fluffier mouthfeel. Bigger, bolder and juicier. This is Kaleidoscope with its party hat on. Cool.
You should have told me then. I know we do zero preparation for this podcast. You should have told me. Because I went out and bought another one of those.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I enjoyed it so much.
Nice,
so.
nice. Well, that's good.
I haven't been able to find it over here.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose if it is that limited, I guess you might find some numbers on their website of how many they brewed or something like that, perhaps, just to know, Aadil, if it's going to come as far north. Or I suppose go in the hop knocker and say, phone Wiper and True immediately, please. And get as many as you can. Nice. What are you drinking this evening, Aadil?
I've got a beer I saw yesterday at the hop knocker being poured and was like, well, know what I have to do. It's from Azvex Brewing. Where are they from again? They're...
It's not Nottingham, is it? Right there, no.
Really?
No.
And it says imported by Multibeer in the Netherlands.
They're in Liverpool.
Google.
They're in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Why has it gone through the Netherlands then? Oh, is this one of the ones where they've got two spots in the world, one in the UK and one somewhere else?
Ooh, don't know.
Anyway, while Lucy looks that up for me, it's the Mana. It's a passion fruit, guava, mango, and coconut smoothie sour, which is several mouthfuls.
Nice.
But it says contains real fruit. Store cold and roll can gently before opening.
Oh.
So,
Okay. Does it give you more instruction than just roll gently?
Nope.
Like 400 times?
I know they didn't do that yesterday.
Oh, really?
I saw the pour. So I'm going to try and let me move this microphone out of the way. I'm going to try and show you the pour because it's if it looks anything like it did yesterday, it's a treat. Oh.
Oh, yeah. After the roll, you expect a little
But like look how thick this is.
Wow. It looks like it's just pure like head.
That's not a beer.
Frothy and foamy,
That's
but imagine by the time you get a bit closer, it's thick and it's juicy and it's like milkshake.
That's like milk.
It's an actual like smoothie. I had to make sure there was no lactose in it because I was like, what?
That's insane.
What
is that?
Yeah, so this is why I had to.
You imposter.
Focus on. This is why I had to get it.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah.
It's like what the. This is one of the most fucking random beers I've seen in a minute.
It's almost like cappuccino in kind of color on the camera, isn't it?
It looks like it's just like
it's a bit more orange than brown.
That looks like an egg Vietnamese egg coffee.
You see all these bubbles? Like it's giving it a weird texture in the camera. That's bubbles.
Right.
Oh shit.
Anyway, let's roll back round. Let's roll back round. We'll go see how Aadil does with getting back to this and sorting himself.
Aadil's chugging custard.
Lucy, we'll come back to you for the day.
Absurd. Azvex. All that I can gauge are just the single site in Liverpool, by the way. The Sundrips Honey. It's very honey coloured. It's very, yellowish, very hazy, cloudy, basically opaque. Yep, lovely smell. Like, lots of mango on the nose.
Yeah.
You know, tropical fruit. I actually like the can art. It's like the crocodile who's just like lounging in the sun. I don't know if you can see that.
That'll be me. That'll be me in a couple of days.
Yeah, okay. Stop bragging, Ren. But yeah, it's lovely, like watercoloured, like their crocodile just lying in the sun.
Nice.
I mean, they brewed it for spring.
Mm-hmm.
Spring doesn't look like that in this country. That's very much the 2 days in summer, and nothing else. But yeah, really, really nice smelling.
Good.
Oh wow, you can't tell that's 8% from the bat. It's like it's got I'd say medium bodied. I think that's what I've noticed about Deya beers recently. Like they're smaller percentages. They sort of have like a thin body and more of a like kind of oniony aftertaste.
Yeah.
They've never been like really, going for that bitterness. They're much more fruit forward, but it seems like they've kind of like condensed in between, where it's like they're not going for the fruit, the overly fruity, and yet they're still not bringing in that bitterness. Like a 4 or 5% beer, it's like I can deal with it. It's like thinner body and it has like a bit of fruitiness, but like a bitter finish. Whereas a lot of Deya beers now, it just feels like it's not going. It feels like they're not leaning into anything anymore. Whereas what I remember from old Deya, they just leaned into the fruit forward, like kind of thing. And this, I feel that like that's what this beer is doing a bit. It's like it's definitely got like a lot of tropical fruits. That mango carries through, like a bit of passion fruit, maybe a bit of melon, maybe is there a bit of stone fruit? I don't think I'd sense that on the first taste, but it feels like this has been a bit more fruit forward, just pushing that fruit, but not like very heavily bodied and just like it doesn't taste like Aadil's beer looks. I think it's like it's not trying to be like a smoothie. It still has that beer taste, but it's just very fruit forward. Let me see if I can sense any bitterness on the end.
Again, double IPA, you'd expect maybe a little bit of bitterness, perhaps.
No, not really. It's mostly sweet. It's mostly sweet, but it doesn't have that kind of like oniony taste that some of their lower ABV beers have.
Yeah.
It feels like very well balanced. It doesn't have the bitterness on the end, but it's also not, oh, this is just like fruit forward for the sakes of it. It still tastes like a beer. I think maybe they're finding their groove with these doubles a bit more. Where it seems, as I say, I may be talking out my ass, but it just feels like they're getting back to what I remember Deya to be with the doubles, where it seems like they're packing in those hops and they're packing in that fruit, and then they're just trying to be that, like, oh, this is a very flavorful fruit forward beer, and unapologetic about it. But on the can it says pineapple. Yeah, I'm getting slight notes. I think pineapple is just one of those tastes that probably get drowned out by more dominant fruit flavors like mango and stuff like that. But yeah, this is like it's really easy drinking. As I say, it's I'd say it's medium bodied, but it's like really smooth and clean on the taste, so it can easily go down. I don't think this is going to last long. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's it feels like a more refined and grown up version of like their saturated in Simcoe.
Okay.
This feels like it's doing more of a balance, even though it still doesn't have that bitterness. When I think of balance, I think of in this style certainly just like fruit, early taste and a bit of bitterness at the end. But I don't know, it feels a bit more reserved.
Sure,
I'll say that.
Okay,
cool. But yeah, it's good. It's good.
Nice, good. The other double then, KaleiDIPA. I like the change on the name. The nose is really big. It's huge, and it's very very nice. Again, a lot of sweetness on that nose, but almost I don't know what the kind of the word I was looking for is. It felt like it was a bit more sort of stone fruit. And again, they say it's more maybe sort of tropical fruits that are in here, but there's something in there that's kind of it's sweet and it's fruity, but there's almost, at least in the nose, kind of something in the background as well. I can't quite pick out what that is. That just almost like not necessarily like a burnt kind of like toffee note or something like that. But there's definitely like a bit
more
kind of like
malty
note coming through in that nose as well.
Yeah, it surprised me for like a wiper and shrew because it definitely was a little bit more bombastic than I expect from them in signs of the fruit, but it just had that quite like accomplished taste to it as well that you'd expect for wiper and shrew, and like remaining reserved but like still getting the job done. It's still just being like some of the best in class in that kind of style. So yeah, it's I think I put it on tap, so I'm trying to get up.
I mean, there is a lot of fruit in there, but again, as you say, it's quite reserved. Like, it is a big beer, but it doesn't like blow your head off. There's a lot of flavour going on, a lot of lovely flavour going on, and that kind of that flavour. It's interesting that flavour is so reserved, considering how big the nose is on this as well. But yeah, getting a little bit of that kind of malty kind of backbone to it. And I think they said there was a lot more wheat in this. So they doubled the wheat or something like that as well to give it a bigger kind of body. And it is very smooth. It's very lovely. It's maybe more medium bodied. It's not kind of thick and full, but it is, it's kind of getting there. It's edging that way. And that sort of tropical fruit is maybe a little bit more kind of mango, maybe something that's maybe like guava or something like that in there as well. I can't quite pick out what that other thing is. But it does leave a little bit of a piney kind of resinous finish to it as well. Not much, but a little bit. And that sort of touch, I think, of alcohol burn as well on there. Just a little bit that creeps in at the end. So when you first taste it, that first initial kind of like sip, first few seconds, it's a lovely reserve. And you think, oh, this is a big IPA. It's nothing too big, but actually then you realise it's maybe that little touch up where that burn kind of creeps in and that piney sort of resinous bitter finish sort of takes over a little bit. But yeah, this is lovely. It's great for Wiper and True for them to do something of this size as well.
You're just making me more jealous. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's. I think it's. Yeah, as I say, it's not something I typically expect to even see up here, let alone a double IPA from Wiper and True. It's just it was really good. Like, I had a double IPA yesterday. Have you guys heard of this brewery whilst we're on here? Spookton Brew Co.
No.
No.
I was like, this is a new one. Spookton.
Is it all skeletons on their fucking cans?
No.
Skellington.
And it's called, the beer I had is called Octuple Fret.
Okay.
Which was a double IPA.
Oh, they're super young.
Yeah, how old are they?
2022.
Oh, wow.
Launched in 2022 as Cuckoo Brewery, and we're taking our next big step in early 2024 by opening their own microbrewery and tap room in the center of Chester.
Nice.
So they were like a tiny, like
teeny tiny,
a step above homebrew, until now, basically, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw a can. I was like, I've never heard of Spookton Brew, but this is a double IPA. I'll try that.
The octuple threat?
Yeah, and it was like really good, but it's sort of like not the opposite of what like this Deya and the Wiper and True is, but it's like this is going all in like the smoothness and the fruit, and it's like it was really good. I'll say that, but it's like it feels like when you're just, I don't know, a bit more older and more accomplished and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we don't have to push too much into that like fruit forward and like more smoothie kind of type beer. We can, like Ben said, you can have the pininess and the bitterness, whereas that octuple threat was just very much, oh, this is a very bold double IPA, very fruit forward, very smooth, very, very, well, it wasn't overly sweet, but it's like it just went for it and it was really good. So yeah, it's just like two sides of the same coin, double IPA, but it's like one can be a bit more reserved, and I wouldn't say refined because they're just two different types of styles.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, that was very much like in your face, whereas like the Sundrips Honey, this crocodile is looking at a sunset and it's like, yeah, what you'd want to just to finish, instead of getting rallied for the next one with that like massive fruit forward beer like the octuple threat. But yeah,
nice. I do note they Spookton also have a Brave Noise beer as well. So yeah, they got into that program as well, even as a younger brewery, which is really good. Yeah. So good.
Good to see.
Absolutely. Aadil, we'll come to you. Have you tried it much? Have you drank it much?
Audio listeners won't get to see this, but it is settling.
Oh wow!
I can't with that beer.
Wow!
Get it out of here.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have a sip, but then probably report back in. I'm gonna say 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll try and take a picture and post it to our Twitter.
We'll see at 10 o'clock.
Reel or something.
Yeah.
So again, I saw this being poured and attempted to be drunk by a young woman at the Hop Knocker yesterday. I was like, well, I have to buy a can of this. This is, I don't know what this is.
Could that even come out of like the tap at like?
I don't think it's tappable now that you mention it. Okay, well, so. Holy.
I can't.
It is.
I'm done.
Oh, and it's a really excellent sour. It's not lightly tart; it's proper sour. The coconut's giving it some smooth creaminess. Definitely getting the passion fruit, all them tropical things. The mangoes, I'd say it's passion fruit mango backbone with a bit of guava and the coconut knitting it together. It's quite tart. I really like that part. It's obviously not quite drinkable. What I will say is it's not insanely like, oh, this is just fruit. There's enough of that tartness and sour that it's making sure that despite the fact that, like, they say it contains real fruit, right? Like, and they weren't kidding. This is like, by volume, probably the fruitiest beer I've ever had, just because it's this thick, fruity mess. But it doesn't just taste like fruit. Yeah, it's pulpy. Yeah, that's how thick it is, right? It does feel like a smoothie. I'm gonna leave it there just because
Sure.
I can't tell if I'm sipping head or just the same thing it'll taste like, but slightly foamier looking, right? Like this is such a bizarre thing. It's kind of gotten.
Oh my god!
It's getting there. I think last time I showed it to you, it was like one finger. Now it's 2 fingers of thing that looks like drink.
What is that?
But it doesn't look like beer. It just looks like drink.
It's not a beer.
Yeah.
This is the most non-beer beer that you've ever brought on, and you've brought some weird stuff on this podcast.
Yeah, well,
this is
yeah. Anyway, so I'll leave it there. I'm kind of thirsty, but I'll just let this sit. It does seem like it's accelerating a bit, so sure. I'll not jostle the table or lift it anymore.
Yeah, you might find it.
I might in between our discussions be like, "Can I talk about this beer now?"
Yes. Well, you may be...
This is the a few moments later.
You may be driving most of those discussions, because I don't know whether we have any sort of noteworthy news to talk about this week. Or we do. Good. Let's hit us, Adil. What have we got?
Kotaku's editor-in-chief resigned.
Oh.
Because of because the managers, the media Geo, which is the new name of Gawker, media execs, basically said that they decided to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides, to the tune of moving to a minimum of 50 guides a week was what they were told their new strategy was. And Kotaku has the ticker on the top.
Yep.
They wanted to remove news from that entirely and replace it with guides.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember because on my news app, which is basically just feeding in RSS feeds, is it Kotaku where it's like there'll be a certain day, like a Sunday or something like that, when just like 10 things just drop and it's all guides, guide articles.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to look, but that's a weird one because you'd probably think, we'd prioritize guides over like op-eds and features, like kind of articles, but like not news. You'd think it's a fucking video game news. That's what. News is always your bread and butter for any website. So I understand prioritizing guides over like as I say, like curated content, like opinion pieces and stuff like that, but over news. That seems
so this is this is from gamesindustry.biz, but it's first of all, the editor-in-chief, her name was Jen Glennon, and she said, I firmly believe the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides is fundamentally misguided given the current infrastructure of the site. This decision is directly contradicted by months of traffic data and shows an astonishing disregard for the livelihoods of the remaining writers and editors who work here. So it's not even like they had a surge of guide lookups and then these and there's a short-sighted manager who says, well, this is where the traffic is, and like trying to chase the clicks. It's clearly something else. I have a theory.
Oh.
If you wanted to say what you do is make written content, and you're a top-level executive, and you're like, how can I save money on labor? And you're like, oh, well, there's these new tools that seem to be able to make written words, but the things that they need to make, they're not very good at not telling factual things or doing scuttlebutt. But you know what I bet AI, like large language models, are probably really good at is spitting out or helping people with low writing talent, like massage things into readable to follow a guide content. Like this, to me, this is like if we pivot and we maintain people just come here for video game crap. Well, this is video game crap. We can like use large language models to cut our writing staff in half, because one person could theoretically write the Coles Notes version of their steps, and then because they're very simple instructions, a language model could probably spin it together, and then that one person could make 3 or 4 guides in the same time it would take to write an article. I'm not saying this is possible or a good idea. I'm saying that's a line of thinking I could see one of these assholes having.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Automate.
One editor to look at what the AI wrote. And it's. I mean, I will never discredit guide writers because they are the bread. Well, I say news is the bread and butter because the actual revenue stream is always coming from the guides and the guide writers, and that's a very special skill unto itself. And it's like,
again, was not trying to say AI could do that job for them.
I know you weren't. Not at all. But it's just, that is it is what keeps most websites alive, and just writing about Fortnite or GTA 5 guides is, that could, prop up the site for a day or whatever. But it's weird. Like, games media is in a weird place. I think, video games are in a weird place anyway, funding wise. So games media is, that's continually been in a place of limbo for ages. But fair play to the editor-in-chief who resigned.
So there's one more fact I want to share to you about Jen Glennon's career. When do you think she joined Kotaku as editor-in-chief?
Last year, 2023.
Yeah, when in 2023?
May. December.
Warmer. October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They've lost. In August, they lost. They fired Patricia Hernandez following a personnel disagreement.
Because I found that she was pretty good. You know?
I wouldn't be surprised if the disagreements were around this type of stuff. But to have someone, it's March. Like, that's not even. That's just shy of 6 months, right?
Yeah, it's a weird one. And yeah, I was trying to look at my RSS feeds, trying to see which site it is that just literally just drops a whole load of guides on like the same day or whatever. Like, this is how you do this in Dragon's Dogma 2, and do that all on like the day of release.
Tons of Final Fantasy 7 tips, I'd imagine,
and
like that sort of.
Yeah.
Which is actually a problem, given that they keep changing games after they release, which means your guides go out of date, and that's worse than not having.
But yeah, it's like it takes a village to have good guide writers, and it's a hard skill. And I couldn't even imagine being that thorough in any video game.
It's interesting that I've just literally gone on to the latest on Kotaku, and I've scrolled through, and at the moment, tips is maybe 1 in every 3 or 4 articles. It's still at the moment more news focused and more news heavy than that. And occasionally you'll get like 2, game tips or guides kind of articles up, and then again 3 or 4 bits of news, and then a guide, and more news and a guide, and it sort of repeats more, in that sort of way. Every 3 or 4 articles is a guide of some kind, or tips of some kind on the latest kind of game that's come out. So you can see that it would be a bit of a shift to move into that sort of way. And I imagine that maybe the focus might be on maybe guides and things like that, but I can't imagine they're going to pull away from news that much, because news, you would think that news is the thing that pulls people to the site, right? That's the thing that gets them on the site.
No one is so enamored, or at least I don't know many people who are so enamored with a guide writer that they would like necessarily go to the same site over and over. Now, once you find a guide for the specific game, you might go, oh yeah, they have good guides on this game.
Yeah, GameFAQs, when that was around.
Oh, well, yeah,
but
that's that's where you went.
Hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, but it's like now it's like multiple people working usually on a guide, and just because it was like, I don't even know if they credit anybody on, but even stuff like that. So.
I would imagine that you Google, you want to do something specific in a game, and you Google it. The first thing that comes up is a video on YouTube, right? Because Google's going to try and push you to YouTube more than anything else.
It's fucking infuriating. So just give me the text.
Yeah, absolutely. And rather than going to a guide on The Gamer or Kotaku or somewhere like that, it's going to say, here's 3 or 4 different videos from these YouTubers that you probably haven't heard of before, delivering very small kind of 5-minute guides on these specific things. And imagine, again, those people will be working incredibly hard to portion out that bit of the game for people to be able to kind of find and be able to help them with. But it's a weird shift for a website to do.
Well, especially when the traffic doesn't bear it out, right? That's the thing.
I genuinely can't remember the last time when I needed a guide, I went to a video games website, and if I did, it was probably IGN, probably like 10 years, well, maybe less than that, 5, maybe more years ago. It's like, probably go to Steam.
Like the forums, yeah.
Like the community, the community posts, or YouTube, Couldn't tell you the last time I looked at, like, I don't know, a guide for anything.
No,
but to be fair, the games that I play are probably way more niche. They're not going to write a guide for a little indie game. They're going to write a guide for Final Fantasy or GTA or something like that. And I get that, and it's like that's a big, attractor of traffic. But I just can't see it replacing entirely the need for news. Op-eds, which is, it's a shame. And I feel like under Patricia Hernandez, they were going for like those maybe a bit more salacious headlines, like a bit more quippy and a bit more news injected with a bit more opinion in it. And I think at the beginning, I don't know if she was the editor who started that. It might have been somebody else, but it's like, I remember there was like a shift, and they're like, should Kotaku be this snarky in their headlines? And it's like, this is what draws traffic in.
Yeah, absolutely.
As much as people maybe don't like it, and it's injecting a bit more opinion into something that should be objective news, it brought in that audience. It made you want to click on that headline. So, and it feels like they have gotten away from that. Maybe that's just naturally because of the change in editor-in-chief. But it seems like that was the way that they were trying to bring in traffic. And yeah, I don't know how. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Smarter people than me are there to figure it out. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
I ain't got a solution.
No, absolutely not. And someone like Geo,
pay me, and I'll pretend you that I have a solution. Like a lot of people who probably get promoted in any media. They say they got the solution, and they actually don't.
Well, absolutely.
No money.
And I think Kotaku has gone through since they're kind of like buyout and various other kind of websites that have all gone through that kind of like. Was it who owns Kotaku now? Gawker, or is it Geo or someone like that?
It's Geo, but that's because Gawker Media relabeled at some point.
Well, so it is them. Okay.
It's Gawker / some other thing that corporate.
Sure. Like you always hear that is a really shitty company. Like they're not necessarily tanking websites, but just being like, cool, we've bought you now. We'll do what the fuck we want. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jezebel closed down, right?
Right.
Last year. Which was a independent site, then Gawker site, then go away, I guess is what we're gonna term these gone aways. G/O away.
I had no idea the Onion's part of that network as well.
So is the AV Club.
The AV Club, yeah.
And the AV Club is shutting down comments. They're shutting down comments on almost everything as well.
Really?
Which I get in the one hand because like it's pretty toxic in some of these spaces now, but like the AV Club for the most part was like a big deal because of the community which are built around it, and you just don't get the community without comments, right? Like there's no community in a website unless there's some way of interacting, and so again, they probably don't need to now because they've already killed the community because of like. I don't even. This must have been God knows how long ago, 5-6 years ago, when they moved to Kinja, the commenting system, and that was a big kerfuffle, and apparently killed a lot of these websites anyway. But yeah,
literally just changing your comment system just ruins everything.
Yeah, well, people lost like all their old comments, I think, or like their accounts couldn't stuff like that, and like. I can't remember. It's been too long.
I suppose it's almost like a lot of these websites. So like go back to say like the early 2000s. Maybe even the late kind of 2008, 2009, something like that. And a lot of these websites, they're the comment sections were their own community. That is where their communities lived, basically. There weren't kind of Twitter existed,
but there wasn't r/AV club, right?
Absolutely, but there wasn't like Discord for people to go to. There wasn't those kinds of spaces now that everyone has been able to kind of open up, or these bigger places have been like, come and hang out in our space. The forums were that space, That was kind of where people sort of lived. And now it's less forums and more just comments, I suppose. It's changed more to kind of being like, come and just, have a bit of engagement. But who knows if that's going to be kind of multiple kind of comments, people having conversations within an article in the comment section, or if it's now more just kind of like, you are shit, bad reporting, terrible article.
I think one of the things in the comment stuff, if I recall correctly, was threading and stuff went away, and so like all these Gawker sites had the ability to track conversations a lot better, but then it was doing the very social media thing of trying to float things around, and so you couldn't have conversations because you couldn't find the comment again, that kind of crap. And so of course that means 5-6 years later, the only types of comments that like make sense and over the years are the ones that are like personal attacks on people or random throwaway shit because you can't like converse. Anyway, so that was the news.
No, that's interesting. Good. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, let's just move straight into games. I think there's a few to cover this week, but not by me. Lucy, you got any to cover?
Absolutely not.
No.
What?
It's all on you this week.
What did I play, Ben? Do you know? Because I'm not sure.
A bit of Balatro, maybe?
No, I've been clean for about 10
see,
days
that's the problem. That's one of the games I want to talk about.
Should we talk about Balatro?
Yeah, what a fucking game.
This is what I've been waiting for. For the expert on addictive card games to say what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, have you talked about this on one of the episodes I've missed?
We have talked a little bit about Balatro, but only in episode 400 we mentioned it.
We were both on it, and I think we were several beers in, so if you don't remember anything, that's fine.
I took a bit away from it and came back, and then, one of this like Easter break, not having lectures anymore and just having some marking to catch up on has meant that I feel no pressure to not play games. And it was like, oh, right, this is why people get addicted to this. Yesterday, I finally racked a win.
Oh, nice. The first one.
Yeah. Nice. On the red deck, because
That's the starter one?
I just figured. I think it was the red deck.
That's just standard.
No, it wasn't. It was the green deck. So the one where instead of earning interest, you earn more money per hands left and discards left.
Okay.
So you don't have to. Ben's like, so one of the main income mechanic is interest. So in most of the decks, you earn a little bit of money for hands left over. So if you have 3 starting hands and you beat the blind in one hand, you'll get $2.
Right.
Because you have 2 left over. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of each round you play, for every $5 you have, you earn $1 of interest up to $5. So basically, you save up to 25 earlier in the run, and you sort of keep that as a bank because it's going to give you passive income of $5 every time you play a game. And then there's this other deck which is like you don't earn interest, but instead you get like $3 per hand and $2 per discard or something like that left over, which means if you're doing big splashy hands, you're getting a ton of money coming in, and you can just spend it willy-nilly almost because you don't have to worry about it. You're not like getting into your opportunity cost of like losing interest.
Yeah, I think the green deck was the first one I won with, or the yellow deck. It was definitely one of the ones where it was like more money focused. So yeah.
And it was the first time I like said, "Fuck it, I'm going 2 pairs." It was a joker that was 2 pair and a couple cards, and I was like, oh, this is so easy. And then what was interesting was I hadn't figured out yet that whether the planet card that upgrades the pair hands also would count for any hand that had a pair in it, and that's not the case. The jokers, if it says I give a multiplier for pairs, then any hand that has a pair in it will get that multiplier.
Oh, but So even if you get
the hand increases, the planet cards don't. Yeah. Right? It's just if the hand you are submitting is classified as a pair, it is now gets upgraded. Right. But I upgraded pair and 2 pair kind of by themselves. And then I got the joker that said count every card you submit.
Yeah.
And then right in the middle of the run, there was a blind skip that said double the next. So when you skip a blind, you get a little tag. If you're I don't want to play this
you've been doing that. You've been skipping blinds.
Yeah, that's.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I still have yet to venture into that kind of like.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you must be better at reading hands than me, because that's the only reason I've gotten to, I think, with my runs to 7 or 8 in this one. But it said the next tag is doubled.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next tag was, so the single, like the first blind was double the next one. The second was upgrade pair by 3 levels.
Oh,
so
nice.
I skipped both blinds, and suddenly pairs were like, shoo.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was playing pairs and 3 random cards.
Yeah.
And it was scoring higher than way higher than a royal flush. And in fact, higher than I had leveled 2 pair consciously throughout the whole round. So I just swapped them. And just now all the upgrades for the 2 pair didn't matter. And then it was literally, in one of the planet cards, I got spectral cards turned everything. So it gives you like, I don't know, 10 cards or whatever. And you have choices of what to do. And one of them was change them all to the same rank. So suddenly I had like 14 4s or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, I'm getting pairs. I'm getting pairs the wazoo. And
this is just a 4. We got my pairs. I got the pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, and then had a joker that said, add for as many times you've played this hand, add to the multiplier. So as I was going up, every time I was playing pairs, I was making the next pairs better.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then I had another one that said, if you've played this hand before in the round, times 3. Yeah. And then it was just like
else would
easy
have been
street.
good. The joker that's like, if you play 10s and 4s.
Yeah, I wish I had that. Specifically the 4s. Yeah.
You'd have been making back.
But it was really
apologies,
dumb.
Ben. You're not going to have any idea what any of this
fine,
means.
please.
So what was dumb is
you just think about your pina colada on the beach tomorrow. So don't worry.
I'm drawing 4 of a kind 4s, and then being like playing them as pairs because it's better.
Yeah.
I'm scoring them like 10 times, if not more points by saying a pair of 4s versus 4 4s, because that's the dynamics of the game.
How long into your run would you say that you switched to that kind of strategy?
Probably the 6th, maybe end of the 5th blind. Or I think that was the 5th blind or the 6th blind. It was the 5th blind, so I went 6, 7, 8 with just pairs.
That's what I love about that game. You can it's all about RNG. So sometimes you can get like really good RNG and get those really good jokers, and like have in your mind what your run's gonna be. And sometimes you're lucky enough to just be like run with that.
Yeah.
Or you can just be like scrambling in the dark for like 5 rounds, and then something just clicks. And then you start tailoring stuff around that. That's what I just love about the game. It's like, you keep going because you never know what's because there's so many things that can just alter the fates, and it's like the game invites you just to break it in that sense.
There was one card that said like, give me a couple bucks for every time every blind I skipped it. I got 15 or 18 bucks because I was so aggressively upgrading that I wasn't actually playing that much, which was a really interesting thing.
Yeah, I've not some of that game. I need to.
Those tags are super big, especially if you can see the double one. Like there's some tags that are like, if you skip around, everything but the vouchers is going to be free in the next shop.
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, what?
Nice.
Why? Like that's basically like $23 to skip. Like the most I'm gonna get out of a hand is probably 12 late mid game, right? Right?
Depends what you've got.
Yeah, fair.
Jokers, yeah. I had one of the jokers where it's like, there's a 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 chance, I can't remember what it is, for a face card to give you like money, $1 or something. And then I had the joker where it was like, all cards are considered face cards, and I also had the joker where it's like, the odds are like or doubled or whatever, so it's like 1 in 3 becomes 2 in 3, or 1 in 2 basically becomes 1 in 1. It's like I was just flush with money, so I was earning like $15 per round just from what was going on in the round, let alone the bonuses after everything had taken place. So it was just like, I had like $400 in the bank at one point, and it's like I can't spend any more money.
Yeah, that was my problem. I was like throwing money at rerolls, but then it's like, the shop has to refill. Oh well. But I really like the game. I like how quick it can be. Like even if you don't skip any blinds, it's still really short, which means like, and it can run on anything in its dog, right? It's 64 megs or something dumb like that.
I know, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's what it is.
So problematically, I had it on my work laptop, and I had it on my tablet, and I had it on my PC here, and I had it on my Steam Deck. But the thing is, I've been pretty good about playing 1 round, maybe 2, and then stopping. But actually...
Oh, you're the good addict.
Well, so far.
Me, I was just like, let me go again.
But then what's nice is that I feel like I'm playing around a Balatro. I'm like, oh, well, it's in front of me somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I can just do that. It's a crime that it's been labeled as a gambling game or encouraging gambling in some places. This we talked about before.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm now remembering that conversation.
On Nintendo. Basically Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think it shines a light on, like,
hypocrisy.
Like there's nothing gambly about it. I think it'd be an educational tool, and like, these are the signs, rather than actually promoting it. Like,
and like
have you ever come to the end of a run, like, and just not even thought about it and just pressed whatever it is on the Steam Deck X?
Yeah.
And just been like, let me go again. I don't care.
Like, very much.
Yeah. So it's just like, that is very much I lost everything on black, but let me go again. And it's like, but it doesn't have that predatory thing about it, so it doesn't encourage it. It's like it shines a light on, like, look, this is the lows that you get, and then the instant dopamine hit and the highs that you'd get, like, just trying again.
Oh, and this is the same as these other video games you play.
Yeah, like,
well, and like, you can't change your there's no betting, right? It's all a facade.
You bought the game, and that's
no, but I mean, like, even in the gameplay, there's no betting.
No.
There's just score points, and points have a multiplier, and they're called chips.
Yeah.
But that's it. But like, you're not playing against someone to beat their hand. You're not allowed changing the values you're going for. It's just a threshold of points. It's just pinball, right? In that sense.
It's I can do better.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean by pinball.
A lot of RNG, out of your control. It reminds me of, like, Vampire Survivors, because the designer who made that, he even worked for, like, gambling companies.
Yes.
And was making, like,
really?
those kind of games. Yeah, and that's why it's, the sounds, like, and the pop, 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 but when you kill all these enemies, and when you get all these coins, it's like the ding 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 ding. He knows. He knew, like, all the triggers, and it's like this game seems to do the same thing. And I think it like, all these mechanics and trigger sounds and trigger mechanics and stuff like that are in games anyway. they literally have like committees and consultants are saying, how do we make, I don't know, Overwatch or Call of Duty more addictive? I think educating people about that, and like when I play Call of Duty, which is like the only game I play anyway, like just the satisfying pop when I like shoot somebody and it sounds like popcorn, just like but when you're actually hitting on somebody, so it's like that addictive quality, and it's like being aware of it is I think half of the battle if you're worried about getting addicted to things. But it's like, I ain't gonna put no money into Call of Duty. I know what it wants. I know what it wants when I unlock some random Cheech and Chong skin, which is coming to Call of Duty, strangely.
I did see that.
So, but it's like I'm aware of it, and I know those triggers. I know what it wants. I think, or like FIFA or Ultimate Team or whatever. I think being knowledgeable of it and having games that shine a light on it and yet don't expect money from you, like Balatro, I think that's more healthy for the industry rather than anything. You know?
Oh, agreed. I mean, it's you should get this game, Ben.
Yes. So it's yes. I mean, the amount it's kind of.
You know what would be great? Playing on the plane tomorrow.
That's kind of
Well, I'll have a small child sat on me, so I don't imagine I'll get much playing done apart from with small things.
Because it's coming to mobile, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I think I'll wait. I'll wait till it comes to mobile.
Because you don't have a Steam Deck, so that makes sense. Or a Switch, yeah, and then we'll truly have you, and then
absolutely. Yeah.
We might as well just end the year here and just discuss Game of the Year in April. Yeah.
What I think is interesting is how to a certain extent winning for the first time isn't easy in your first few hours of the game, because there's this
still unlocking jokers and figuring out.
You're unlocking jokers, but you're also unlocking packs. Like tarot cards. Like I didn't see my first spectral card for like many runs, right? And like, boy, is your approach different when you get a spectral card that changes the 10 cards in front of you, or whatever it is, 2 of which are spades, all into spades. You're like, guess I'm going for a flush run. But what I found really interesting was I found flushes kind of easier to get than I thought they would be, and I kept finding, and so I did a lot of runs like optimizing for that. And then when I tried 2-pair pairs, like, right, if you get the right jokers, yes, but also some of the jokers are like give you bonuses for 4 card hands or whatever, and so because you can always submit more cards than you need, these like smaller hands are more flexible against other things, but also we know we can get pairs and 2 pairs. They're literally more probable. That's why they're worth less. Yeah. But getting out of the poker mindset of flush is a big deal, I'm gonna like push towards them. There's still like a lower probability unless I like luck out on certain ways to manipulate my deck.
But I find that because I started like 2-pair city. Because yes, that is probability wise what you're more likely to get. But in terms of like the weighting, because it still measures it has the same weighting as like normal poker. Like flush is more than a straight, which is more than a 3-pair, which is more than a 2-pair, which is more than pair, high card. So the one that seems to be like the least path of resistance and yet the highest points always to me seemed like the flush. So it's like I feel like I ditched the 2-pair at a point, because it's like, unless you're very much speccing, okay, I'm going to go everything into 2-pair, getting the celestial cards and upgrading the 2-pair and getting the Joker cards that are very much, just basically centered on 2-pair. I thought it was a lost game if I tried to go 2-pair, because at the end of the day, it's still not enough of a multiplier.
Yeah.
Even leveling it up. So it's like the flush was like, okay, what's more than this? A full house? It's like, okay, full house is pretty decent as well, but it's like not always possible. But a flush, if I get like, say, the card that like spades are the same, can be considered as clubs and vice versa, and diamonds to hearts, etc. And I only need 4 of them, and you
get the one that's like spades are ×3 multiplier, so when you get the flush spades, you're just like...
Exactly, and the card that is like, oh, if I only have spades left in my hand, there's a multiplier there, and it's like, it feels like, I don't know, maybe it's just me and my... The game is very well balanced, but it just feels like
flushes, I think,
there's more things that are geared towards the flush than there is to, like,
I think
2 pair.
Part of it is because you're getting 3 discards and X hands. And so on a couple of my flush runs that got close, because I had enough hands left over, I knew that the flush would just like beat the game. I would play a hand as a discard and score like crap points, but something, and then those cards get replaced. I'm like, oh, there's my 5 cards for my flush. My next hand is going to score like, or
the Joker that is like, or the buff or whatever it is, I can't remember, it's in the shop or whatever, where you start with, because it's 8 cards usually, but if you start with 9, it guarantees that you're going to get a flush, if you only have like 2 suits. It's like, because, it's going to be usually 4 of the one, 5 of the other, or like 6 to 3 or whatever. It's like, it guarantees a flush in the first hand. It's like, so I don't know, but it's Ben, it's
good.
Yeah.
It's good the game has captured you kind of in a way where we're talking about the intricacies of kind of not necessarily deck building and those kinds of things, but the RNG of the game itself. Like I've started along this path and actually it's completely fucked me constantly, all of the time, and then I've unlocked one card and just exploded. Interesting.
It's
very
very
interesting.
much like running with things, but not holding yourself to a strategy is the best strategy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fair.
But like
absolutely,
like on the RNG stuff, right? So the winning deck I had instead of Jokers, again, it was a ×3 multiplier if I'd played the hand before. So on the final round, I play a pair and I get like 5,000 or something tiny, right? And then I play another pair, and now it's like, and now I basically won. Like it was so ridiculous. Like I was basically throwing the first hand away, but that just set me up. So it was like, oh, a pair of 9s, because that's not where any of my extra Joker points are going for. Fine, but then my pair of 4s afterwards is just like, and it's like, oh yeah, you beat it. I think it was more like 25 or 35,000 on the first pair, and then like 100 and something on the second pair, and I needed to break 100,000. It was like, I did it in 2 hands, but really I did it in the second hand, not the first. Like I could have erased the first, and I still would have won. It was really, really interesting, like dynamics of the setup.
Yeah. And then the great thing about this is that even when you win, you can keep going. There's definitely it feels like a barrier. It's like, unless you've completely broken the game, it's like this score tally is way too high and I'm going to get past it, but you can keep going up until that point. If you get past that point, which I don't think I have yet, well, the scores is like, you need to get like 7 million points or something like that.
Right.
And it just grows exponentially, and I haven't got there yet. But that is when you know that you've truly broken the game. And I'd like to get to that point, but and you theorize all these things, and it's just like, oh, I'm like, because I've unlocked most of the Jokers now, and it's like, I'm just like, maybe I should try this run, maybe I should try that run, but it's like, to there's a point at which you can tailor your run, but that will require money to like re-roll the shop and try and keep getting the Joker. So it's like you got to be lucky in that sense anyway, and it's like you probably have to go the money strategy first. But yeah, just even thinking of those theories and like I have it written down like
I'd love to
mad
hear
person in my notes. Like I need this Joker, that Joker. Yeah. If I get those 5 Jokers, then I can destroy the game. But yeah.
I really would like to hear back from you when you start skipping blinds, because I think that opened up a whole new level.
Yeah,
of strategy for me that, like,
I've not done it. It's one of those because when you started talking about tags, there's a Joker card that's related to tags. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
because I never skipped any.
I will say
Jokers.
one more thing, which I haven't experimented with, but every run has a seed, and you can give people the code. And then they'll have the same seed, which I think is really neat.
That's so good. It's just so good.
And so now there's like a weird community of people sharing like really exploitable seeds to see how busto they can make it, which I think is really neat.
I love that.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, like after I finished the run, I was like, "This is just it's 64 megs, and it's just." Cool.
Yeah,
it's got seeds. It's like Minecraft, but better.
I'm not here next week, so more Balatro conversation potentially to be had if anyone plays any more Balatro. But
yeah, maybe I should get back into it. Maybe I should.
Just a few games. But then that's the problem, isn't it?
There's no
with this
such
kind
thing
of
as a
game.
few
It's like,
games.
I'll just play a game, and then like 4 hours later, like, oh shit,
40.
My day is gone. Like,
yeah.
Adil, you had another game. To talk about as
Lucy recommended a game, so I a couple weeks ago, so I bought it, and I played it for the first time yesterday. It was Slice and Dice.
Right.
I have yet to play this, so yeah, I really want to know. Yeah. I didn't buy it. I just downloaded it on my phone when I was in Manchester, and I was too drunk to play it.
Right. So it's tactical dice rolling roguelike combat. So you basically start with 5 heroes of like generic, like warrior. There's one lazy, thief, etc. And you basically they have a certain amount of health, and they start at level 1 or whatever. But you basically see it's like super low res, like 68. It looks almost 8-bit, not quite. But and you just get when you click on a character, you get a map of a die, a 6-sided, but like unfolded. So it looks like a cross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you remember making cubes in like
good times.
Elementary school, right? Your starter dice and characters will have like a couple of X's, and then and so your abilities are on a couple of the faces, and if you're not guaranteed to have an ability in each face of the die, and so like the warrior's ability is like 2 are a stab for 1 hit, and 1's a stab for 2, and then 1's a shield.
Yeah.
In the middle, and then 2 X's, and like the thief will have something, blah blah blah. And so you start the round, and the enemy rolls first, and it shows you so it's basically it's like all five of your characters are in a column on the left side, and the enemies are in the column on the right, and they roll their die. You see it, and then it shows you exactly what their attacks are. So you click on an enemy, and it has like a dotted line. But if it's like a warrior type, it might be a dotted line to one of you, but it's a cleave attack, so it hits the 2 people on the side. So it'll say 1 damage, and have 3 dotted lines to these 3 players, because he's cleaving this person and hitting the top and above and below. And so the shield basically grows a shield and will prevent 1 damage, but poison characters go through shields, and at the end of each round, that's every roll, you will get, if you have any poison, it'll increment. And then, so they roll, and then you roll your die once, and then you can have up to 2 rerolls, but you can just click on a die and you save it to that character. So like, oh, I got the 3 hit points with the warrior, that's the best I can do, I will hold on to that one and roll the rest again.
Right.
And so you have 3 attempts to get the roll you want, basically, right, with each character, but it's like one big roll. And then then once you've locked in your 5 die, you then click on a character and then click on who you want to do that. So if it's a shield, it'll be a friendly character. If it's an attack, it'll be a non-friendly one. And then it's 20 round, 20 waves of enemies, but some of the enemies will be like there was a weird snake person, and every 5 hit points they spawn a mini snake who was actually one of the earlier enemies. And so you heal up at the end of each battle. There's 20 battles, but it'll might be several rounds until you kill everyone.
Sure.
So, I do 3 damage I kill one of the bad guys. There's 2 of them. I've done 3 damage to one. One's at full health. They roll. They now hit me again. I roll and I try and kill them. So it's a nice little coordination of do you focus fire? But what's cool is as soon as you after every round you open up a treasure, and it'll be a choice of 2 items or something of that level random. And some of the items are increase all of the lowest pipped abilities on a die by 1 increment. And so I'm so my weakest character has a bunch of level 3s and a level 2. That'll only upgrade 1 thing, but actually my big ass warrior basically just has everything at 3. It has 3 things at 3 and 1 at 4, but I could make all those 3 things at 4 and make him a bruiser, and that's a better use of that item because it's overall. I can make that choice, or I can just say that 2 hits so crappy, I just want to make it better. And as soon as you level up with a character, it'll give you a choice of 2 different upgrades. Sometimes it's the same character and 2 different paths they can go down. So do you go from warrior to berserker or paladin? And sometimes it'll be pick one of these 2 guys to level up.
Right.
And so I changed my thief into what was called a juggler, which was a magic based attacker where there was no defense at all. It was just 5 sides and an X, and one of the sides they all cantripped, which means when you roll they do something. And so there was a 2 damage cantrip and 2. But you can still save the die. So it's a 2 damage roll that also does 2 damage when you roll it to a random enemy. And then if you save the die, then in the action phase you can target the 2 damage that die represents, which means you benefit from always rolling it, re-rolling, because you might get extra damage out. But one of the faces does 1 damage to themselves. So you can kind of burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Right.
But also I didn't realize until I played it that I was oh right, I have a die here and it's damage to themselves as the one on the last roll, and I clicked it and I just hurt myself. I was right, I could just have continued. I didn't have to use the die. I just stop hitting yourself. Yeah, and then so there's a neat party balancing thing of how much defense mechanics do you you need at least 1 character who's either restoring health when you get unlock restoring health, or giving more shields to people. But then one of the warrior upgrades is it gets +1 for every shield in front of it. It gets +1 attack. So protecting it also makes it hurt more. And then I got an item that said at the beginning of each round grow an attack. So it just made everything slightly stronger as long as it had that item. And my biggest complaint of the game is I started it on normal. I played 1 run of this roguelike and I beat it. And I was
Oh.
That. Oh. Yeah. I had a great build, and I'm wondering if I kind of lucked out, but I was just literally just 20, 30. Actually, I don't know when my time played was on Steam, but it was really fun. I just was kind of taken aback when I was last round was a dragon, and I died a bunch, but I had a character who could resurrect up to 2 characters, and so I planned, because it tells you, it's full information. So when it has those dashed lines, it'll show you how much health everyone will lose, and it'll have a little skull saying someone's going to die, but on that person's health it'll say the overage, so all the maths is there. So it's this person's got a dead +3, and I can give someone 2 shields. Well, I'm not going to waste the shield on that guy. That guy's fucking toast, right? I want to make sure my Valkyrie's okay, because if I ever roll in the next couple rounds, I'll probably be able to roll the res 2 characters thing. And then one of the other faces on that character was this person can't die.
Wow.
So they'll go down to 1 health instead of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But my like super aggressive guy had a thing called death, which I also basically hurts himself while he hits people. But he also has a move called death, which basically he kills himself and just does massive damage. But I could combine the not dying thing with the death thing, and then he's doing like 16 damage and going down to 1 health point instead of dying, which means he's got a chance to live to the next round. And so it was like a really neat interplay of things, and a lot of this was like thinking about what do I actually want this character to turn it into based on the party and the items I have. It's like, oh wait, if I move the item from this guy to this, that's going to be broken, so I'll definitely upgrade to that. So yeah, it's like deceptively simple, because really it's just, your upgrade is just another picture of a character and a little cube map, and then you just right click on each of the abilities to read what they do, and you think, can I make this work?
Mm-hmm.
And it was real cheap.
Nice.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it was $7.50, I think.
Yeah,
it sounds like
I heard about it because it came out on itch like a year ago, and it was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on this, and they got released on like mobile and Steam simultaneously, and it's just like, yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because I want to check it out. Because it turns out like I'm the biggest card game and dice mark on this podcast, strangely.
Yeah.
And Ben's the biggest Xbox fan.
Yeah.
We're not sure about you, Bill.
But it sounds like a classic kind of like RPG team builder, like synergy type of kind of game. Absolutely, and
it just wears its RNG on the sleeve, right?
Yes, absolutely, and I know that builds very much into kind of lots of games that have been coming out kind of recently. In deck building games and that kind of thing. You're crafting, you're building, you're trying to not necessarily min max, but you're looking for all of those like connections with these characters or with card builds and deck builds and those kinds of things. I think it's interesting that this throws in that people finding such interesting things to do these days with very simple kind of mechanics. The whole idea with the dice and how that actually sort of plays out, that gives you that little bit of kind of yes, I've crafted this very well formed team, but there's still that little bit of chance that stuff is going to completely fuck up.
I will say one more thing gameplay wise. What's cool is you can undo. So you can undo moves. You can't undo rolls.
I like that.
But like you can, if you like try and do your moves in a specific order because you think it's going to kill a monster, and then it doesn't, because some of them like have weird abilities. It's like, well, they've got 3 pips. I'm doing 3 damage, and they go down to 1. You're like, I don't know why that happened. I was way too lazy to like read that. I was like figure out why. It was just like, okay, like I'm just gonna try a different order of attacks. I'm not gonna like, right? And then if it doesn't work, it's like, oh, maybe I don't want to put all my energy against that guy then, because one of my guys gets a bonus for every like damaged foe. So next round he'll be much better. If I can't wipe out this guy, I'm just actually gonna spread things out later, right? Nice, stuff like that. Yeah. And like you can do that, and you can try things, because even if all your guys have done stuff, you have to hit end turn, and until you do that, you can undo all 5 of your moves.
I like that.
Great.
I like that.
And so what's interesting is they roll first, you roll, then you act, then they act. Which gives you the most flexibility with the knowledge you know, such that, for example, that my guy's toast, I can't give him enough shields, but what I can do is kill him before he kills my guy. So actually focus firing this guy is a better strategy because it keeps my character alive, even if normally I would want to do something to like the more powerful. I can kill the really powerful guy or save my guy by killing a lower powerful guy. That's probably better, like that type of stuff. Nice. So like a surprising amount of depth.
Yeah.
You know what also has a surprising amount of depth? The head of this beer. What the actual?
Oh my god!
Can you see? I took a sip and it's like a crater.
Give us an update. Give us an update before we launch into our quiz.
It looks pink now. What's going on?
No, it's still the same orange. I think it's just a weird lighting in my room. Okay. The head is wildly thick. Like you can see, I took a sip there.
Just spoon it out.
Like here, I'll...
Oh my god!
You do that?
You're eating cookie dough.
Like, yeah, it's a fully formed foam on the top. Like,
what is that? Don't drink it. I'm worried for your health for drinking.
I can get to some liquid, but it's basically the same. Like we're like a third of the mug settled.
We're gonna find out.
It's still really tasty and tart.
Tomorrow.
Like I've been disappointed by some sours recently that just aren't sour enough. Mostly because Keith, my housemate, who's now back home, but Keith really likes sours, so we tend to get the same thing or whatever, and it's just I've been having a bit on more of a kick of looking for sourer sours, and this is sour. It's nice and tart. It's not too but it's tart. It's tart forward, and then you get this nice layered tropical fruit. That's all I got though, because I'm getting so little thing.
You're not actually drinking beer at the moment.
No, I don't know what this is. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like
juicy.
I think
foam.
It needs a label saying like roll the can, then pour it 2 hours before you want to drink it.
Well, we've been over an hour now, haven't we? So,
that's what I mean. Yeah. I'm aware. I've been talking a lot this episode, and I'm like, I'm so thirsty. I can't even. You're not supposed to drink the beer when you're thirsty, but you're supposed to. I didn't bring a gallon of water. Anyway.
Should we do a little bit less talking? Let Lucy roll in. As we jump into a quiz to finish out the episode.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. We have some games here, folks.
Hang on. I got to bring me fucking sounds up. There we go.
Oh shit! Yeah. Right. Yeah. How do I do that? Huh?
Bring the sounds up.
You took that one. Okay.
Well, I don't mind. I'll be.
Oh no! I'll just do this. It's fine.
Again, for our audio listeners, anyone tuning in, this is the first episode you're listening to. We're using a Discord soundboard, so you don't hear the sounds. Sorry.
Yeah,
go to YouTube or outoflives.net to see the video version and see us making ridiculous sounds.
Yeah, at least on the video, you can see the icon pop up.
Yes.
I like how it launches. It looks like when you do enough of them in a row, it looks like a duck is like wobble jumping.
Yeah. Right. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't done this for a while, so
it's been a few weeks.
And I must say, I'm very impressed with how good both of you are at this game.
That's where we felt.
I feel like I'd be.
Yeah.
No. I feel I'd be like blanking, especially after a couple of beers, like every single game. So give yourself some kudos. But game number 1.
It was giving us kudos.
Good. I'm glad you did. Welcome to the 1980s.
No.
Welcome to Blank, a huge urban sprawl stretching from the beach to the swamps and the glitz to the ghetto. A town brimming with delights and degradation.
Was it Grand Theft Auto Vice City?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Well,
I knew that from Welcome to the 80s second line, but I was like, it can't be.
But yeah, what? Yeah.
Oh, was it Glitz to the Swamp or whatever? That, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember. Is there swamps in that game?
I don't think so.
You can easily get lost in your motorbike and find them.
Well, there's like one mission, maybe, where you go down to them.
I don't remember swamps.
No, I don't remember swamps.
Yeah, I'll read the rest. Having just made it back onto the streets of Liberty City after a long stretch inside, Tommy Vercetti, rest in peace, Radiator, is sent to Vice City by his old boss, Sonny Forelli. But all does not go smoothly upon his arrival in the glamorous, hedonistic metropolis of Vice City. Tommy is set up and loses everything. Sonny wants his money back, but the biker gangs, Cuban gangsters, and corrupt politicians stand in his way. Most of Vice City seems to want Tommy dead. His only answer is to fight back and take over the city himself. That's actually like a good...
Yeah, it's a reasonable...
Yeah. Like, what was it that we had a few weeks ago? It was like San Andreas, and it's like...
Oh god, yeah.
This is boring. Yeah.
It was like...
at all.
Like, something...
Ride a motorbike.
His mom... and her cookies...
Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, there's some beef and yeah, decent. Right, game number 2. Let me see.
It's because I've had no alcohol today because this fucking beer has
Yeah, maybe that's it. You're extra sharp.
Super switched on.
Okay, game number 2. Where should I start this one?
The top?
Yeah.
Not always, because that's why I like to call it back to that, because sometimes it's a very obvious punchline at the start. Okay.
Like a tag along the top sort of thing that just
Yeah.
spells it out completely, yeah.
Keep creating them assassins, Ezio.
Kill the Pope, or whatever you do in those games. Okay. I'll start with the tagline. A pick up and play blank. Jump and dash your way to the goal pole in an all-new adventure. Classic blank action with a modern twist. No, that's just like how the game's going to kill you if you stare at it for too long.
Jump and dash.
Oh wow, there's really not a lot.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's just basically warnings.
Go again.
Blank's power-ups. No, I'll read the rest of it. It's just like Blank's power-ups. Small blank. Blank. Tanuki blank.
Super Mario Brothers 3?
Oh.
Super Mario World?
Ben.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii U. Was it?
No.
Oh.
It's not on the Wii U.
Okay.
I'll give you that clue, both of you. But
small boxes.
Super Mario Double Dash?
On the Wii. No, it's definitely
Mario
like
Kart.
a...
Isn't that like a Mario Kart?
That's a Mario Kart. Double Dash Mario Kart. Yeah, it's definitely Mario, but...
Yeah, well, Tanuki, I don't know. Maybe there was a Double Dash Tanuki suit that they were like...
Warning!
Wee!
The use of 3D feature by children aged 6 and under may cause vision damage.
Shit. It's new... What was the... Shit, it's the...
I want the exact name.
Yeah, I know you do! It's the 3DS one, right? It's gotta be the 3DS one, but isn't that new Super Mario Brothers?
It is not.
Super Mario...
But it is the 3DS one. No Googling, Ben.
I don't...
Hands up.
But I need to click my duck. I need to click my duck.
Okay.
You can just quack.
For your duck. For your duck and air horn.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so Super Mario 3D.
I'll give you...
Super Mario Brothers 3D. S.
You've got the...
The S stands for super.
You've got the first part of the game, and I'll give you a hint. It sort of harkens back to the Game Boy titles as well. So it's Super Mario 3D blank.
Advance.
Fuck.
Advance on. You know what? That's not the strangest thing Nintendo have done. Put in advance in the name of a 3D
Super Mario
game.
Brothers 3D
World. Super Mario Brothers 3D World.
SNES one.
Close.
Super Mario 3D. Fuck, I can't remember what the...
Planet. Universe.
Nope.
Land.
Oh,
land!
You're on the right track.
Land!
Super
Yes!
Mario
Ben,
Brothers 3D Land.
It's Super Mario 3D Land.
Super Mario 3D Land? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Oh.
Did I show the...
Goal pole? Who the fuck calls
Yeah,
it a goal pole?
that's what threw me out completely. Oh, nice. That's
Was it
gold
99?
pole.
Not
That's
bad.
what threw me out. I was like, oh, it's Mario. And then you said gold pole. And I'm like, it can't
Gold
be
pole.
Mario.
Goal
Yeah.
pole.
Is that what it's called?
The
a goal
thing with the
pole?
flag.
Yeah. I'd call
It's
it
called the goal pole. I've learned something new.
Yeah, so, right. Oh, that was hard work.
That was hard. I suppose at
I
least
can't
3DS,
believe I couldn't remember Super Mario Land.
3DS
Okay,
box. Tiny
this
little
is
box.
Yeah.
Right. This is a
I'm
No,
annoyed
I'm just gonna go with it. Let's have a look what this is. The box saying for this. Okay.
Also, Super Mario 3D Land, not Super Mario Land 3D.
Super Mario. Is it Bros? No, Super Mario 3D Land. That's actually a really good game. It's probably one of my favourite Marios that came out after the 2D ones from like 30 years ago. Yeah. Game number 3. We are one apiece with the scores. Use your ghostly skills to solve over 20 complex puzzles. Find secret passageways and clues to locate pieces of the Lazarus machine in order to bring...
Beyond Two Souls?
No. I
was just like, ghost. I don't know. I basically I was hovering and then I clicked by accident and had to say something.
I love that that game's awful. And this mate is just...
I mean, I've never played it. There could be a Lazarus machine.
No.
That is just William Dafoe.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
It's one of
Lazarus
those
machines, they're a big clue.
Yes. If you get that reference, like Dark Angel, you get it. The Lazarus machine. In order to bring blank back to life. Based on the hit movie.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah. With some of the same great 3D animation and hilarious gags. Morph into humorous objects. Wage a battle of wits with the ghostly trio.
Oh. Casper the Friendly Ghost? The game?
Yeah. It's literally just called Casper, just knowing the property.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say Casper, and then you said Lazarus Machine, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
That does very much sound like a David Cage
I've seen that movie, but I don't remember no Lazarus Machine.
I think that's what it was called. It rings a bell, but yes, very, very good.
Oh, right, because doesn't Casper become a real boy at the end, weirdly? Killing any sequels unless he's murdered?
Very weird.
Instantly killed by a bus or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a robot.
Right.
The ghostly trio.
Okay.
Is
a way to bring it home, you need one more
fucking point. Lazarus machine. Isn't Jesus the Lazarus machine?
Guys.
Like...
I don't know.
I mean, it is Easter, so we might as well bring Jesus in for some reason.
Oh, yeah, I should have cut my beard back a bit. Make it more Jesus-like.
Yes.
It's more, still quite pirate.
Okay.
No.
I'll do this one. Oh, Jesus, this is
Lazarus
sparse.
Machine.
This is this is sparse. Let's do this one anyway. Who knows? Resist gravity. Intense racing rivalries. Insane Uber tricks. Fresh
tricks.
DVD extras.
What?
Massive adrenaline rushes. Adrenaline, yeah.
Jackass, the game.
Oh, I wish. Same era, same time frame. Mind-blowing worlds. EASportsBig.com.
What?
EA Sports Adrenaline Rush.
I did not expect EA Sports to follow any of that.
Think of
gravity defying.
Think of extreme sports.
NBA Street.
No.
SSX.
Oh yes, it's got to be an SSX because it's EA.
SSX Tricky. Is that a game?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, it is.
I'll give it to you. Well done.
Nice.
SSX Tricky.
Yeah.
Well done.
Damn.
And that's free.
The only SSX.
Very good.
Oh man.
Very good.
I should not drink more often before quizzing.
And we are 2 free, Aadil, 2 Ben free. And Aadil also has the asterisk where he gets the Wonder Years correctly, so that will always
give him a
go
half
in his
point.
favour. So yeah,
Might as well
I'm
be
not
a
going to
draw at
read
this point.
the rest. Yeah, I'm not going to read
please.
the whatever I would have had for the 5th game because we are running out of games that are really guessable. The others will have to be some prompts from me, like, you remember this Wallace and Gromit film, right? So,
Well, this is what I was saying
done.
earlier. Like, do you really want to use all these bangers together?
Yeah, it started off with bangers, and then I saw the
Well,
rest
fine.
of the stash, and it was like, ooh.
That's okay.
There are some great ones, like SSX Tricky.
I'll be back
except for
shortly.
Okay. But the box art was just like a bit lacking, so
Yeah.
you know. But so yeah, I'll note these down. Well done, Aadil.
Did you want to read the rest?
That was it for SSX Tricky. It was literally.
No, that was it.
I'll show you the
Yeah,
back of
okay.
the box.
I see what you're saying now. I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
no, that, and I won't read the rest other games,
Yeah.
but it's just literally taglines, tagline.
Wow.
There was no copywriter involved in this. You know, it's just like, this is what we do. Ben's not here to round out the episode, so let's talk about
he said he'd be
Balatro
right
a bit
back.
more. Yeah, but he's not
Yeah.
right back.
So here's
How
a
much?
question
But
for
how
you.
much more? I want to ask you how much more of Balatro you'll play, but you can also ask me a question.
Oh, I was going to ask you about like whether you started thinking about other sources of games to ask.
I think because I have some games. I have some boxed
Well, you got-
games.
A bunch of games behind you.
Those are DVD. Oh, we could
there's
do
DVDs.
DVDs. We could switch it up.
Yeah,
And I could be like,
I
throw
was gonna
DVD
say.
in
So like, if
there.
we just do box art,
Yeah.
there's a bunch. I like the physicality, right? Otherwise, I'd just say
Mhm.
Google some back images.
Yeah, and that just doesn't have the kind of
And like,
satisfaction.
I've
to it,
seen,
does it?
I've seen some charity shops full of games. I'm like, I literally can't buy these and send these to you because I will,
Yeah.
unless I buy them and try really hard not to look. But I still would know titles, right?
Yeah. No, but some of them surprise you. It's like because I don't look prior. I just like I saw SSX Tricky. And it's like you both will know that probably.
Yeah.
But it's literally sparse. But yeah, Ben, we were thinking like when I run out of video game boxes because I have a few of my own. But if we ever run out, switch to like my DVD collection.
Oh, wow.
Like, okay. Ooh, here's the bonus. 'Cause I have one right here. Because
I was gonna say, or you just have to hold on to all your tins and be like, here's the flavor text,
yeah.
which would be fucking impossible.
That would be impossible, absolutely.
In this early action classic that features his unique blend of frills and offbeat humour, Blank stars as retired Colonel John Matrix. What a name.
What?
Oh,
What?
fuck.
Are you offbeat? Was it offbeat action and comedy?
John Matrix. Why can't I remember
Colonel
who?
John Matrix. You lot will know this. The ex-head of a special commando strike team.
Oh,
He's
Right,
forced
it's
back into
just
action
Commando,
when his
isn't it?
daughter.
Yeah, it's Commando.
I forgot. I couldn't remember which Arnie role was John Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah. We should do this as well.
I love it. I love it.
The box art game.
Just
have this at hand at all times.
Absurd.
Because,
Yeah.
Commando,
it's precious.
Commando, like one of the least comedic Arnie films in existence.
I know,
Yeah,
that's
apart from
That's
the
that's
reuse.
why I was like, wait, no, what? It must be missed. Like, it can't be that one.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
fair, it is absolutely hilarious when he
Yes.
just,
Yeah,
like,
but not-
goes onto the island and just literally
Well,
kills
they
600
showed the same
people.
5 scenes 25
Oh, so
times.
God, it's great,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yes, they're
Oh,
like
yeah,
we
it's
only had the
actually
budget for
hilarious.
4 explosions, so we're actually just going to show the same thing. Fucking loads.
So when you think about it, yeah, it is hilarious, just unintentionally. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's round out then for this week. Has anyone got any comments on beer? To finish us.
I'll let you know tomorrow what it tastes like.
This time tomorrow. 24
nice.
hours.
Good.
Yeah, the day was good. I finished it. Really loved it. It's. I think if I'm going for Deya, I'll probably only pick up their dippers. They seem to bring me what I want at the moment from Deya. So
yeah. Good. Nice. This kaleidoscope, KaleiDIPA, is very good. It's very good. It does mellow again the more you drink it. So as we were saying kind of at the start, there's that little bit of a reserved kind of actual flavour to it, a little bit of, and a lovely amount of balance to what they've got going on. And all the flavours do just drop a little bit in their intensity, even more so as you're kind of drinking through. But it kept the same flavour profile kind of throughout. The only thing that maybe did drop off was that little bit of kind of alcohol burn that I was getting kind of at the end of each sip. I guess my palate became used to it, and that just disappeared kind of through the beer itself. So very, very well made. Lovely double IPA from Wiper and True. A shame they don't make more, really, when this is kind of the output, but then you get into the like Deya, double IPAs, lots of stuff, and then suddenly that kind of shift in what people thought double IPAs should be or flavor profile should be kind of a couple of years ago, or available hops and that sort of stuff. That shift in flavour, and Deya just kind of drops out of the space a little bit on sort of double IPAs, but good at least to know that they are kind of, I think the last few Deya beers any of us have been really top draw again. So yeah, really good
I think
to
it's
see.
knowing what to pick from them nowadays. The same way I am with like Brew York. It's like,
sure,
yeah, I'm only going to pick up their stouts, not their lighter beers. So
yeah, fair. Good. Well, that's it from us this week. You can go to outoflives.net to look at all the articles that go up over there, watch our videos, and see Adil's absurd fucking beer this week in physical form on the video. So know exactly what we're talking about. There. Yeah. Or go to the YouTube page to see that as well.
Yeah, just shout out Lee, who's been putting out quite a clip, his reviews, and of like smaller games that you might not see other reviews for elsewhere on major sites, and it's good feedback for those. So
absolutely, 2 or 3 a week at the moment, reviews. I think.
Yeah.
Who's gonna break it to him that now he's got to write guides instead of reviews?
He's got to cover the whole of Dragon's Dogma 2 all by himself. That's it. It's the only thing he's allowed to do now. Yes, yeah.
Oh man, we should. If I had time to burn, which I might, to write a guide for the character creator demo.
Yeah.
Oh my! Just for that.
You should write guides for every character creator demo. That's exactly what we want to see. You can get us at TankTopCast on the socials. I'm at Nova_47. Lucy is
Juicy Loose 9, and another shout out to you, Ben. I know you're on a holiday next week, and you deserve it. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you drink whatever beers that you like.
I'm gonna try and find some stuff. I don't know how successful I'll be.
I mean, when you're in a place like that,
your rest.
Thank you.
The beers will be fine. I have faith.
And we'll record another coffee podcast.
Absolutely.
Oh man, yeah. We should.
Yeah.
And Aadil is
at the Omniarch.
Perfect. They're the places we exist. They're the games that the games that Aadil has played this week, and the beers that we have drank. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been Hacked Up. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Ta-ra.
Bye. Ciao.
403.